Could we hear from Stacia Huyler?
Chairman Keeble, thank you. My favorite topic. First, I just wanted to touch upon the fact that I heard Rep. Anastasia Williams, and I hear many other individuals always refer to how other people came to the United States. The British and Scottish colonization began in 1607. The signing of the Constitution occurred on 9/17/1787, and Ellis Island opened in 1892. That's how my grandfather came to the United States, legally. Both of my grandfathers did, actually. I look at the sponsors of this bill: Democrat Rep. Anastasia Williams, District 9, Providence; Democrat Rep. Scott Slater, District 10, Providence, who's also the budget analyst for the city of Providence; Democrat Rep. Shelby Maldonado, District 56, Central Falls; Democrat Rep. Ramon Perez, District 13, Providence; and Democrat Rep. Aaron Regenberg, District 4, Providence. Unfortunately, all 5 of these reps ran unopposed in 2016. I hope we don't see the same occur in 2018. One can clearly see where the legislative political pandering lies in our capital sanctuary city. These legislators do not represent the sentiments of the majority of the people of Rhode Island, who strongly oppose giving driver's licenses to illegal aliens. It's baffling to me that a state rep and budget analyst for the city of Providence, or any state rep, endorses driver's licenses for illegal aliens. Multiple studies have shown that granting driver's licenses to illegals poses national security risks, encourages more illegal immigration, creates adverse consequences in other states, rewards lawbreakers, conflicts with and frustrates the purposes and objectives of federal immigration law. As we heard earlier, Mayor Elorza openly endorses and advocates for illegal alien sanctuary right in our capital city of Providence. He's not even complying with ICE right now to deport criminal illegals. Illegal immigration has proven to not significantly impact road safety or guarantee more insured drivers. And most importantly, especially in a financially struggling state like Rhode Island, granting driver's licenses to illegal aliens is fiscally unwise. The cost of illegal immigration to Rhode Island taxpayers currently is approximately $300 million annually. The current debt per Rhode Island citizen is $11,405. I was just sitting in Warwick on a city council meeting last night. We were talking about unfunded health care liabilities for our retirees in Warwick, our city workers in Warwick when they retire, and how Warwick doesn't have, we're in debt $366 million because we can't afford to pay our city retirees. But here we are all talking about illegal immigration. And we know it's going to, the overall cost. I mean, we hear Mayor Elorza talk about that he doesn't want to burden the Providence Police Department to crack down on this. It's because we don't have the money to do it. That's the problem that we have in Rhode Island. States who give driver's licenses to illegal aliens create safe havens that facilitate criminal activity, especially in regard to drug and gang-related crimes, human trafficking, and identity theft. Rhode Island is currently facing a massive heroin and prescription narcotic abuse epidemic. The U.S. Department of Justice released its own investigational report back in 2003 titled, quote, "The Rhode Island Drug Threat Assessment." And this assessment still holds true to this day. And here are some excerpts from the report. Quote, "Most drug distribution and abuse occur in and around the urban areas of the state, such as Providence, Pawtucket, Central Falls, Warwick, and Woonsocket. Latest news reports from Projo just a few days ago, quote, "Kent Hospital bears the brunt from recent surge in opioid overdoses. During a 4-day period from March 24th to the 27th, at least 16 people received ER treatment for suspected opioid overdoses. 11 were treated at Kent County Hospital in the city where I live. Drug transporters frequently intermingle drugs among legitimate goods such as produce and furniture when transporting drugs in commercial vehicles. Drugs occasionally are transported into Rhode Island aboard commercial and private aircraft. T.F. Green Airport, and we also have 5 additional public and several private airfields in Rhode Island. Drugs infrequently are transported into Rhode Island aboard commercial maritime vessels. Various criminal groups transport drugs into Rhode Island. Dominican criminal groups are the dominant transporters of heroin and cocaine into the state. African American criminal groups and gangs, Colombian and other Hispanic criminal groups, as well as various local independent dealers also transport heroin. Colombian and other Hispanic criminal groups, as well as various local independent dealers, also transport heroin and cocaine into Rhode Island. Various criminal groups sell drugs at the wholesale level in Rhode Island. Dominican criminal groups are the primary wholesale level distributors of heroin and powdered cocaine in Rhode Island. Colombian criminal groups, among others, also distribute wholesale quantities of heroin and powdered cocaine. Retail drug distribution in Rhode Island is conducted by various criminal groups, gangs, and local independent dealers. Dominican criminal groups are the dominant retail distributors of heroin and powdered cocaine. African American and Hispanic criminal groups, gangs, and various local independent dealers also distribute significant amounts of heroin and cocaine. I don't know how many times I can say this, but it's in this report. But we want to invite more of this in. If state legislators were serious about cracking down on the heroin epidemic we have going on in the state, this is one bill that shouldn't even be before us today. We have a Providence mayor that openly endorses illegal alien sanctuary in our capital city. When Bristol County Sheriff Thomas Hodgson recently testified before Congress on the dangers of illegal immigration in sanctuary cities, Mayor Elorza referred to that testimony, quote, as fear-mongering. It seems to me that Providence mayor puts political pandering to a select few before the best interests of the people of Providence and Rhode Island as a whole. Mayor Elorza's behavior is dangerous, irresponsible, lawless, and tyrannical. If Rhode Island leadership, I already said it, truly cared about illicit drug trafficking and resulting overdose deaths, we had 300 heroin overdose deaths just last year alone and thousands of ER treatments. The first thing they should not be doing is advocating for an illegal alien sanctuary, and secondly, not be backing a bill like H5686. This is common sense. If you make it easier for illegal activity to take place, like giving driver's licenses to illegals, you increase the potential for more illegal activity. Confucius say, one with Ivy League education may not have common sense. The United States does not, did you like that? Thank you.
I'm not so sure Confucius knew about the Ivy League.
Okay, so moving on. Let's not forget about voter fraud. According to FAIR, the United States does not currently issue any general use document intended to confirm both identity and citizenship. While a U.S. passport may be used for both these purposes, it is a travel document. Most people seek a passport when planning a trip, and only a relatively small proportion of the population holds a passport at any given time. As a result, the preferred form of documentary identification in the United States is a driver's license. Driver's licenses are issued by the states pursuant to a widely varying body of state-specific laws and regulations. Currently, 12 states and the District of Columbia allow illegal aliens to obtain a driver's license. Congress attempted to address these issues with the Real ID Act. We heard Terry Gorman touch upon it earlier. This was enacted May 11th of 2005, which established standards for state-issued licenses and other identity documents. including verification of immigrant status. However, only 24 states and territories are currently compliant. Rhode Island is not compliant. Many of the allegedly compliant states have continued issuing licenses and state ID cards to illegal aliens and short-term visitors. They have continued to issue, quote, driving privilege cards and other non-licensed documents. I have about 2 minutes left, so thank you. I know.
Folks,
No,
Stacia,
it's
please
okay.
continue. Ladies and
fine.
gentlemen, no
know.
comments, please, on both sides.
I know hearing the truth and getting educated is difficult to some.
And this
okay.
is why there are no comments,
know.
because it turns
Okay.
into a back and forth, and that is not going to happen
Okay, thank
tonight
you.
or any other night in this committee. Please continue, Stacia.
Thank you. Okay. The intentions behind the Real ID Act also continue to be thwarted by certain provisions of the NVRA, which is the National Voter Registration Act of 1993. These provisions, known as the Motor Voter Law, require state departments of motor vehicles to act as voter registration proxies. The information supplied by licensed applicants doubles as voter registration information, and the registration process has become nearly automatic. Because so many states continue to issue driver's licenses to non-citizens, it is relatively easy for aliens to commit voter fraud through the motor voter system. When renewing a driver's license by mail, they simply check the boxes indicating that they wish to be registered as voters and affirm that they are a U.S. citizen. Most often, they are added to the voter rolls without any attempt to verify the applicant's citizenship. In October of 2016, the Providence Journal reported that Rhode Island voter rolls may have as many as 189,000 more names than what the state voter registration database shows. The U.S. Census Bureau estimates that Rhode Island has about 592,672 registered voters, yet the state has 781,770 people listed as being eligible to vote. That's off by 189,000. We have 189,000 questionable registered voters in Rhode Island today. The number of people, the U.S., they call it the Death Master File, has 6.5 million individuals listed as deceased who are actually alive. And the Inspector General revealed just last year that the IRS didn't bother to let 1 million American tax-paying citizens know that illegals stole their Social Security numbers. I'm wondering what portion of that 189,000 shows up on the list of 6.5 million deceased American citizens. The number of people in Rhode Island that voted in this past presidential election totaled 464,144. So let's recap. Voter rolls are off by 189,000, 592,000 registered voters, 464,000 actually voted. How many of the 464,000 came from the 189,098? I ask that again. Who's to say who the true winner of the November 8th presidential election in Rhode Island really was? All you need to register to vote online is a Rhode Island-issued DMV driver's license, or a state ID number, or the last 4 digits of your Social Security number, your name as it appears on your Rhode Island driver's license, or a state ID card, and your date of birth. That's it. Citizenship is not verified to vote in the state of Rhode Island. Non-citizen voting is illegal, but then again, so is illegal immigration. So what's stopping either? 5 legislators back a bill that invites in more. Rhode Island isn't cooperating with ICE today to inform them of when a criminal illegal is being let back out on our streets, and we are supposed to believe that when illegals are given a special driving privilege license, that the proper checks and balances will be in place to ensure no illegal will be voting? Is this for real? Rhode Island is functionally a mess. The state can't even launch a new benefit system properly. The DMV currently issues driver's licenses with hair color as, quote, unknown, because officials don't have the time and money to capture the data. Voter rolls are off by maybe 189,000, but let's elevate the lawlessness by awarding illegal activity with the American citizen's privilege to have a driver's license. When will this insanity end? Stop with the legislative sellout bills and focus on getting Rhode Island's fiscal responsibilities in order. Enough is enough with this nonsense. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Any questions for Stacia?